A cold conspiracy hidden behind fake smiles behind the lavish walls of Montecito is gradually being revealed. Why has Prince Harry, once resolute in leaving the royal family for the sake of his mental health, now become frail, confused, and increasingly out of control? Why is he increasingly absent from important events, living a secluded and silent life, while Meghan Markle busies herself expanding her brand empire, no longer appearing by her husband's side as before? A close source reveals that Meghan and Doria are using banned substances to subtly control Harry, gradually isolating him from all emotional supports in order to gain full control over royal assets and legacy. What initially seemed like mere conspiracy theories now shows signs of truth as more and more insider leaks reveal alarming details about Harry's mental state dependency and even episodes of temporary loss of sanity. Is this merely the result of loneliness and media pressure, or is it the outcome of a long-prepared manipulation plan who benefits from a lost weak and easily controlled Harry? All secrets will be unveiled in the next video. Part 1. Harry's condition is worsening. Something truly troubling is happening to Prince Harry, and this time it's no longer baseless rumors. Once a symbol of a rebellious, joyful, and vibrant royal, he now appears as a faint shadow of himself. Those who once stood behind him cheering for his rebellion now quietly watch from the sidelines, witnessing a royal tragedy unfold live during prime time. Harry recently appeared with deep-set eyes, tightly pressed lips, and pale skin, no longer the confident figure who strode boldly under flashing cameras. Public events, once his stage to shine despite royal protocols, have become scenes exposing his exhaustion to the point of collapse. Unedited photos alone prove he is losing the most precious thing: self-control. Body language experts speak out. Unusual gestures like constant lip-licking, vacant eyes, and slight trembling hands whenever Harry appears are not mere signs of temporary stress, but clear indicators of someone under severe psychological pressure. No longer the carefree prince, he is now a man wrestling with memories and inner turmoil. Those memories are far from gentle. In televised appearances, Harry confessed, "I use alcohol and drugs, so I don't have to feel." This is not a justification, but a silent cry for help the public may have overlooked. A prince born into privilege, yet carrying deep cracks from decades of loss, pressure, and emotional suppression. Even a Netflix production crew member revealed that during one interview recording, Harry suddenly went silent, his eyes vacant, then bowed his head and sobbed uncontrollably, forcing an immediate halt to filming. The media team later delicately apologized, saying it was just a minor health issue. Experts noticed Harry's increasingly deteriorated appearance, messy beard, and hair-shabby clothes, vacant gaze, gaunt face, and severe sleep deprivation. Some say, if you saw him on the street now, you wouldn't think he was once a prince. Currently, the signs of decline are not only mental. Harry's complexion is increasingly haggard. There have been moments when he left events with empty eyes, heavy steps, and expressions drained of energy. Even beside Meghan, considered his emotional anchor, Harry cannot hide his coldness, indifference, and distance. Many once hoped that leaving the royal family would allow Harry to be himself. But reality reveals a bitter paradox that freedom comes with loneliness and confusion. No more palace, no more duties, and no refuge from the storm of public scrutiny. He stands alone amid waves of criticism, expectations, and unresolved wounds from the past. Some psychological experts affirm that Harry needs help not because he's weak, but because he has endured too much. Childhood traumas, the death of Princess Diana, family divisions, and now pressures to be a husband, a father, and a symbol of an incomplete rebellion. The atmosphere around him is thick with dark whispers, drugs, hospitals, fainting spells, and close associates who once stood near, now speaking out without reservation. Names like Lady Colin Campbell and Thomas Markle Jr., Meghan's half-brother, do not hesitate to say Harry is emotionally and mentally breaking down, while also suspecting Meghan and her mother, Doria Ragland, might have played a part in pushing him to the edge. Lady C, long familiar with the royal family, believes Harry harbors latent disorders dating back to his time in the womb, recalling the story that Princess Diana suffered from bulimia during pregnancy, leaving deep psychological scars. Whether you believe it or not, her message is clear. Harry is not simply a man making a series of bad decisions, he is a vulnerable soul manipulated and trapped in a downward spiral with no escape. Part 2: The Isolation Plan. Things have become crazier than ever. It's no longer just about emotional manipulation or social isolation. The story has plunged into a deep, dark abyss that few dare to believe is real. Thomas Markle Jr., Meghan's half-brother, once seen as a fringe and controversial figure, unexpectedly re-emerged with a shocking claim Harry may have been given some unknown substance not entirely of his own will. According to Markle Jr., during a rare family gathering many years ago, when he had close contact with someone who worked in Meghan's household, he witnessed Meghan and her mother Doria mixing a strange concoction in the kitchen. No one knows exactly what it was, but according to this source, after each time Harry tried it, he became dazed, more obedient, less resistant, and questioning, as if his spirit of rebellion was completely extinguished. I'm not saying they poisoned him, but what they gave him was definitely not chamomile tea, Markle Jr. asserted in a recent interview with an independent Australian channel. Afterwards, Harry's eyes were no longer the same. He didn't look at me, but through me, like someone hypnotized. He described the strange changes in Harry's eyes and demeanor every time he appeared with Meghan and her mother. It wasn't ordinary fatigue, but a state of neurological loss of control, like just waking from a long trance. Remember, Doria has previously been rumored to use cannabis and synthetic drugs. Now, as pieces of the puzzle gradually emerge, people begin connecting dots once ignored. Looking back at Meghan's journey from an unknown actress to a global icon, many ask themselves, did she use Harry as a tool to rise to the top? Meghan, once a B-list Hollywood actress desperately seeking small roles, is now a global icon, Oprah's close friend, and power woman featured on Time magazine's cover. But is it true talent or cold calculation systematically leveraging everything Harry has: status, fame, and emotions? Many once thought Meghan was a savior bringing love and freedom to the rebellious prince. But over time, a clear sign emerged. Harry was no longer himself. Close military friends, his brotherly relationship with William, all were systematically severed coldly and thoroughly. The one pulling these ties apart was none other than Meghan. According to insider sources who worked at the palace shortly after the wedding, Meghan urged Harry to reduce time with the royal family, especially William and Kate. Group photos decreased sharply, interactions nearly disappeared. She began building a separate world for the two of them, where all former relationships were seen as potential threats. The scariest part is not Meghan, but the silent woman behind her, Doria Ragland. She is neither loud nor flashy, but has appeared at almost every turning point in Harry's life since his marriage. She is often present behind the scenes of meetings, multi-million-dollar contract negotiations, and is always consulted by Meghan before major decisions. A former Netflix PR team member revealed Meghan is the face, but Doria is the brain. When Harry hesitates, Meghan speaks, but Doria makes him act. There were debates where Doria even told Harry bluntly that he doesn't understand this system and should let them decide. Harry's condition is worsening. Pressure, isolation, and the feeling of being pushed away from his roots have led him back to substances. The man who escaped the abyss to become a father now returns to sedatives, alcohol, and repeated nighttime crises. A former bodyguard revealed, "We have to knock on Harry's door every morning because some days he doesn't get out of bed. Other days he's disoriented." While Harry spirals downward, Meghan rises like a kite in the wind. From million-dollar podcast deals, children's books, Netflix producer roles, to speeches at the UN, she is busy, radiant, and increasingly independent in image. And Harry, merely a vague shadow beside her, sometimes not even allowed to speak or appear alongside his wife at important events. Many question, did Harry really leave the royal family for himself, or was it a pre-planned strategy? A strategy that cut all ties, made him completely dependent on the new family, and isolated to the point of no return. Now, even if he wanted to come back, would Harry still have a place to return to? The royal family is cold, the British public indifferent, old friends drifting away? Amid all this, he silently stands between two strong women, his wife and his mother-in-law. But love doesn't always save it, can sometimes be the most sophisticated cage. Ghosts of the past rise. Meghan hasn't just burned bridges, she's turned Harry's entire past to dust. His family, the foundation of his life, is now portrayed as the villain in a script partly authored by Meghan. But that storyline, too, loses power. Empathy dries up. The world watches Harry turn his back on those who once protected him, not out of loyalty, but silent betrayal. Every public appearance by Harry is a desperate act proving he is still okay. But his eyes are hollow, his face empty. He seems to live a scripted life written by others. His gestures, voice, and gaze all are empty. No body language expert is needed to see that something has shattered. People once loved Harry for his honesty. He made mistakes but admitted them. His rebellion was attractive, free, carefree, and lovable. But now it's hollow, as if it never truly belonged to him. He's cast into a role dictated by others who need his spotlight more than his mental stability. Lady C once said angrily, "Meghan didn't free Harry, she dissected his worst parts and laid them bare." The most chilling part is Meghan's subtle silence. It's no longer tabloid gossip, but a real question about motives, finances, and legal control if she becomes a widow. While Harry declines rapidly, Meghan maintains an eerily pristine image, always smiling, calm, and detached from the disaster her husband is bearing. Part 3: The Inheritance Conspiracy. Now let's look at the aspect that many avoid mentioning: money. If Harry and Meghan divorce, Meghan is almost left empty-handed. No share in the royal estate, no influence over the trust funds established since Queen Elizabeth's time. But what if Harry were to unfortunately pass away? Meghan would become a royal widow and the legal guardian for the two heirs by blood, Archie and Lilibet. She would control the vast inheritance meant for the children, at least until they come of age. Some conspiracy theories have begun to emerge, and frighteningly, they are not entirely unreasonable. If Meghan is indeed manipulating Harry with drugs, she doesn't need to act violently or cause shock. She can simply drain his physical health, spirit, and willpower gradually. Then one day, when everything fades away, Meghan will stand there in a black mourning dress, holding her two children, choking back tears before the cameras. "He was everything to me." At that moment, as wife and mother of royal heirs, Meghan will have everything: money, fame, and the global image of a brave single mother who loves her husband and children wholeheartedly. Every TV contract, trust fund, and inheritance for the children, all would be under her control. She wouldn't need the throne, only the perfect role, and if successful, would transform from a fading star into the most powerful woman ever to emerge from the British royal family. It sounds cold, but it's not illogical. This is the whisper of calculation behind closed doors. While no one has publicly accused Meghan of any dark schemes, a growing silent fear exists. She could exploit tragedy down to the last drop of benefit. And the terrifying part is that the public is beginning to realize this. We have all witnessed Harry's gradual decline. Recent photos show him gaunt with dark circles under his eyes, unusually rapid hair loss. His confused gestures, repeated phrases during speeches. The soldier who once survived war now seems to be fighting a fierce internal battle. No enemies, no bombs, just a daily draining away. The people closest to him, day and night, Meghan and her mother Doria. They control Harry's schedule, who he meets, even his personal doctors. A source who once managed the Montecito estate revealed. All of Harry's medications and meals must be approved by Meghan. No one is allowed to give him anything without her consent. Is this care or total control? With no gaps, Meghan might not act directly, but does she need to when everything is arranged to operate on its own? A man sinking deep into depression, isolation, addiction, and confusion. No one beside him except the person who loves him. And when something happens, if it does, all the evidence will be just the survivor's account. Call it a theory, a conspiracy, or whatever you want. But don't forget, behind Hollywood smiles and stage lights sometimes lie the coldest strategies. And Harry the Prince, who once rebelled against the monarchy for love, might only be a pawn. Unaware, he has been sacrificed. Even the tabloids that once fiercely defended Harry and Meghan are beginning to retreat. U.S. Weekly, once their steadfast stronghold, recently ran a cover story completely lacking sympathy for Harry. Old allies have slowly turned into outsiders. No one is shocked anymore. They just shake their heads and move on, because the fairy tale has ended, leaving only an unbearable mess. Part 4: The Palace's Silence. Who will save Harry? It can be stated with certainty that Meghan Markle's power play is no longer mere rumor, but a meticulously planned strategy to secure a place in the line of succession. A close source revealed that Meghan has used surrogacy to ensure that both children, Archie and Lilibet, not only carry royal blood, but are also her biological children, though not in the traditional sense. This is a sophisticated move to position herself as the mother of a future prince or heir, a parent while securing an irreplaceable role in the succession system. Despite public shock at these rumors, Meghan remains unwavering. She continues to appear in media projects and fashionable events, while Lilibet and Archie are shielded behind tightly scripted protections. Every image is carefully curated to craft the portrait of the mother of the American royalty, the future prince. The strategy clearly aims to surpass Kate Middleton, who once held a principled position in the line of succession. However, while Meghan pursues an unofficial throne, Harry, the former prince, is being sidelined by the royal family itself. Recently, on King Charles's 76th birthday, Harry was not invited. Once part of the succession line, and having stood alongside his father during key royal duties, he was now excluded from the guest list as if he had never been part of that family. Even when Harry proactively sent a birthday greeting, the palace refused to accept the letter signaling, "You are no longer one of us." A close insider also revealed that when Harry requested to meet his father or brother during brief visits to England, those requests were denied not due to busy schedules, but because they did not want to see him. Recently, Harry even had to stay in a hotel rather than a royal residence, a situation never before experienced. He who once had his own palace now doesn't even have a room for an overnight stay. Not only physically rejected, the royal family has also crushed all hope for Harry to restore his honor. Major events, Queen's Memorial Knighthood ceremonies, symbolic state visits have no place for him. The Sussex name has been removed from official documents, media plans, and speeches. They don't need to say it. The silence speaks volumes. Cut off so strongly not only by the royal family, Harry also feels a sharp distance from Meghan. According to sources in Montecito, their webcam conversations are now infrequent, lacking affection, and take on the tone of business partners, no longer reflecting a married couple. Meghan, with her new powerful wardrobe and the spotlight firmly on herself, rarely shows concern for a husband who needs her to come back emotionally. Despite the surrogacy plan and digital throne strategy underway behind the camera, Harry remains the lost one. He has become a puppet in Meghan's power play, barred from speaking uninvited to the stage, no longer a notable role in the royal cast. His presence remains only on Netflix contracts or superficial interviews, instead of the grand traditional ceremonies under shining lights. Not stopping there, Meghan has also elevated her mother Doria Ragland's role in award ceremonies, promotions, and PR work. A new sophisticated strategy, the power duo of Meghan and Doria, while Harry is pushed aside. Between them is a wide gap, like a power struggle behind the palace scenes, yet played out across social media and international press. So the pressing question remains, can Harry save himself before losing everything? A prince who voluntarily gave up the throne is now cast out from traditional embrace and core family bonds. Meanwhile, Meghan goes live with multi-million-dollar brands, and he stands on the sidelines, millions watching and wondering, is it too late for Harry to find himself again? Part 5. The media slowly turns its back. Once considered the trump card that drew massive media attention, the couple Harry and Meghan are now witnessing a cold and ruthless retreat from the very brands that once embraced them as saviors. When the media and major brands begin to turn their backs, it is no longer just a warning, it is a death sentence for them. Netflix, the name that once shocked the world by signing a $100 million deal with the Sussexes, is quietly withdrawing. Initially, their documentary series attracted massive viewership fueled by curiosity, scandal, and novelty. But what remains now is silence, not because everything has been said, but because the audience no longer wants to listen. The content is thin, lacking depth, and the couple seems only to recount their own pain. Ted Sarandos, Netflix co-CEO, now faces internal pressure over his decision to invest in two celebrities whose appeal is fading fast. Next was Spotify, which officially pulled out after heavy losses on the Archetypes podcast deal. A senior executive at the platform bluntly stated, "They sell fame. When that fades, there's nothing left to hold on to." Then Dior, the luxury brand once rumored to select Meghan as the face of a high-end product line, planned multiple meetings and concepts, only to suddenly halt everything. A renowned French cosmetics company that had invited Meghan to be the global ambassador for their skincare line also switched gears after internal reports showed negative reactions from American and European customers. Market surveys revealed Meghan's image attracted twice the opposition rate compared to other celebrities of similar stature. Amazon Studios considered a production deal for Harry's humanitarian project, but negotiations froze after a sponsor partner indicated the name Sussex sparked more controversy than attraction. A senior strategist at Amazon admitted, "We need inspiring figures, not controversy." A famous California coffee chain where Meghan once posed for photos and promoted the eco-friendly brand also cut ties after complaints that using her image did not yield the expected revenue. They once hoped Meghan would be the second Oprah, but in reality she generated no sales impact, only debate and criticism. Meanwhile, the British royal family did not stand still. They struck back with a new documentary about 50 years of the prince's trust, collaborating with Idris Elba. No statements, no complaints, just action, and well done. The product was not just a show, but a cold, powerful statement. We are not collapsing, we are still here, more important than ever. And what about Harry and Meghan? Once global headline makers, they are gradually being pushed to the sidelines, becoming supporting roles in the very story they sought to rewrite. No more praise-filled headlines, no more hurried handshakes from Hollywood producers, only exhaustion and silence remain. Meghan once expected her podcast to be a breakthrough, turning her into the global voice leading conversations on feminism and identity. But the reality was the opposite. After a few episodes, hardly anyone remembered it. No A-list guests appeared, and the small stage was hard to fill. While Meghan hoped it would be a tool to compete with William and Kate, she only got her mother. The presence of Doria Ragland did not calm the public, but instead fueled suspicion. Once praised as a calm mother and solid support for Meghan, Doria is now under intense scrutiny. Is she the silent force behind the loud media campaign, broken relationships, and the sophisticated manipulation Meghan is accused of? No one knows for sure, but suspicion dominates. Even media outlets that once defended the Sussexes have changed their tone. Gone are the glowing articles praising courage to leave the monarchy for love. Now they write about two people building a brand from pain, exploiting tragedy for profit, and getting stuck with no one left to blame. The journey to regain a voice has turned into a repetitive sob story, exhausting the audience. The retreat of brands is quiet but undeniable. No announcements, no criticism, just unanswered emails, last-minute canceled meetings, and no new contracts. When image control slips away, major brands won't take risks. Harry, once beloved for his honesty, is now shrouded in suspicion and disappointment. Meghan is still plotting her next moves, a new talk show, a new product line, another memoir. But the public has grown tired, curiosity has faded, patience worn thin. While Meghan calmly moves forward with a sharp image, Harry is left merely as a shadow beside her. A prince without a crown, an icon erased from the very media game that was once his center stage. Harry is not simply hurt, he is lost. What sends chills down the spine is the possibility that even he no longer recognizes this himself. In his recent appearances, Harry is no longer the strong prince who left the royal family for love. He looks like a defeated man because he truly has lost. The battle he thought he was winning turned out to be a game he was never trained to play. Meghan is the commander, Doria stands behind the chessboard, and Harry, he is just a fragile pawn who believes himself to be the king. This is not only the fall of a prince, but also a warning to the whole world. No one, not even those born of royal blood, can be immune to sophisticated manipulation and cold calculation. Will Harry awaken before it's too late, or will he forever remain a cautionary tale in this era of media and strategic scheming? Please share your thoughts below in the comments. Thank you for watching until the very end of the video. If you want to stay updated on the hidden truths about the royal world, the political dramas behind the glitz and glamour, don't forget to follow and turn on notifications. We will return with truths that no one dares to speak aloud.